rap shit until it gets tight. Part 2, let the clip go, and 3 is the reload.
Number 3.
Look now, tell me how I look now. Look now, bitch, look down. Wobbly, properly, got her legs in the ankle. That shit just look like I saw some links. I got 80 carats on me, cause I make all that broccoli. Got her camera phone, pop, don't you link up with me, You know, B.I.
So, everybody that lives in the hood should recognize that, better known as over time bump in the trunk. Some might even call it everlasting bass, but whatever you would call it, the real term for this type of so-called music is low frequency sound. And I've come to discover with being a targeted individual that this type of music has actually been created as a weapon against people that live in the so-called hood, urbanites, or black people who are misnomered as African Americans. And over the years, over periods of time, decades, we know as a people that this is something that has become over time, and it may not be as frequent as it used to be, but it still happens where people drive through the hood banging their booming system loud enough for everybody in the neighborhood to hear with this type of music or sound. And for some people, they call that, or used to call it jamming, or, banging, is supposed to be something that was looked at one time as something like, oh, wow, he really banging, or they really banging, or wow, it was something that a lot of people, I would guess the younger people at the time when this practice started up until, I guess now, it may not be as frequent as it used to be, but it still happens in some areas. I know it happens where I'm at, but I've come to learn that the reason that it's being done where I'm at is also a part of noise harassment against me. And it's not just, affecting me. Whoever else is having to be forced to listen to it, it's affecting their nervous system and energy as well. But I know a great deal of it is being targeted at me. But in the process, you throw a stone and kill two birds with it. And so it's not just affecting me negatively, or that's at least the way those who are directing it at me wants the outcome to be, but all of those that are around that are forced to listen to that when those who come through here doing it does it, they are being affected as well. Their energy, their bodies and nervous systems and brain are being affected by that noise as well, that low frequency sound. And so I've come to the conclusion over time, being a targeted individual and knowing that they are doing that towards me, that this bang or booming, so-called music was really created to shut down one part of our brain and to make us unable to be able to think in a wide term or in a broad sense, and to limit our ability to be able to see things in a wide perspective and spectrum, and to shut down part of our brain so that it can make us more like zombies, dumbified, and unable to see the entire picture of things, and to have a narrow view and narrow mindset. So it's actually, that music is weaponized. It's being used as a weapon against us, and has been since it started. And I really and truly think that that's what it is. It's a programming that was intentionally created as an agenda to shut down parts of our brain to create what we see now. A lot of people with a lack of common sense, zombified, puppeteered, and involved in so-called gang stalking, which really, a more accurate term would be community watch. But I've come up with an even more accurate term. These beings are soul hunters. They are hunting souls for the devil, or for those who are the wicked ones in control of this world at this current time, and who have been for the past 2,000 or more years. So, yes, these soul hunters, these soul bounty hunters, hunting down souls, so that they can receive the bag or bounty for the souls that they cut down, the bodies that they can pile up. The more bodies, the better for these type, to try to see how much they can gain and get for it, whether it's a position in some organization or in that cult, which is what that is, a criminal organization and a cult, as well as trying to see how many gift cards they can get, free room and board, which they give them close to the people that they're targeting. They'll give them free room and board to get as close as they can to these people. And it's especially convenient when the person lives in an apartment or someplace like a condo, apartments, someplace where they can put them right next to the person, as opposed to a person who may live in a home that perhaps they can't get them, on top, all around the sides and pile them up around the person. But they could also move people in, like in the neighborhood next door to you. They may not be able to get as close, but they will try to put them as close as they can if a person lives in the house, and try to get them, to do whatever it takes to get to them as well. But it's even more convenient when a person lives in an apartment or a condo. They can pile them on top and all around the person then. That's even, that's a bigger plus. But yeah, this music, it's all an agenda. it's weaponized against urbanites, the so-called black community, young people, and people who have an affinity for listening to those frequencies, reaching down into the root chakra in the lower place, down in the, pelvic area, in the area where people's, private parts reside. Because down in that area, some people think of that as the naughty place. And it's only naughty when it's not disciplined or controlled properly and is used for low vibrational things. Low vibrational agendas, low vibrational activities. High vibrational people, high vibrational activities, high vibrational results. So, the root chakra in most people directs their movements and actions. And instead of thinking with the heart, which is the higher brain, and then the pineal gland, an opened and active pineal gland, which is where that lower frequency is directed at, also hoping to damage and calcify the pineal gland, which is some people or many people call the third eye, but it's really the first eye that you can see with beyond your physical eyes. You can see in a more divine and higher sense with your third or first eye. So that weaponized music is being used also to damage or calcify the higher senses and higher mind and higher thinking as well. And trying to center people's attention to the root chakra or root area, which is the lowest chakra, to keep them in a low vibrational stance or mind that makes good slaves and good puppets. So yeah, I wanted to make this video because I was thinking about that. These bumps in the trunk that's really been created to hold us back and hold us down, especially the urban communities.
Do you ever heard of like the 44 hertz frequency?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
So in the 50s, the Rockefeller family, which is like one of the richest families in the world at the time, they changed like the frequency of like music and whatever stuff we listen to from 432 to 440. But they said when you turn it to this frequency, it like shuts off one side of your brain, because you have two hemispheres of your brain. So once you listen to stuff like that, it like shuts off the creativity side. People started realizing like they're also the people that created our learning system, and they were the people that said like we don't want a nation of thinkers, we want a nation of workers. So they're saying that the frequency in a sense is just like a way to like change people's DNA to where it's like you don't really think for yourself more.
You could tell about the kind of music they listen to. Most times those people have different characters.
They do. Maybe it's a stretch, but even X was saying it for a while before he died. He was saying like frequencies of the music that you listen to was like brainwashing you, whatever. And even there was a couple of artists that didn't play in like that frequency. The artist was Bob Marley and John Lennon. Yeah. Bob Marley got
And that right there, what you just read, is the same reason why the gang stalkers or soul bounty hunters around me are given the equipment to direct ELF waves or ELF frequencies, ELF, at me, and they use those on me a lot. They use equipment that makes low vibrational sounds all the time around me, and also they direct it at my head, and there's a low squealing pitch that sounds similar to tinnitus that they direct at my head, and it puts pressure on my head and around my brain. And they also direct it at my ears. It puts pressure on my ears, and it makes this low, shrill sound in my ears. And sometimes they'll just direct it at my ears for, long periods of time, for hours. Sometimes they'll do it to me for hours. And they'll direct it in my ears. Sometimes they'll just direct it at one ear. And sometimes they'll direct it at both ears. And it causes a pressure on my head and on my ears and on my eardrums. And it's this shrill sound. Like I said, this sounds similar to having tinnitus. And they'll do that to me constantly. And so the things you just read in the screenshot before what I'm saying now is what they do to me all the time. And it's for those reasons that they do it, so that they can cause those conditions in me. Trying to break me down, trying to give me anxiety, depression, trying to affect my nervous system, and basically trying to destroy me. And this is what I experience all day, every day, 24/7, almost 365 days a year, progressively.